Hello everyone and welcome to our stream today. Oh, nice one. We've got 3 people on already. This is fantastic news. Hello, and I hope you're having a great day today. So welcome as we explore ClassVR and we start to discover the future of education using VR and AR headsets. With us today, we have Ian Stuart, who is, I've written this down, the Global Head of Education at Avantis. Hi Ian, how you doing?
I'm doing really cold, but not as much snow as you have, Niall.
It is absolutely freezing up here in Aberdeen.
Edinburgh's cold, but not as cold as Aberdeen. So that way, really, shouldn't I?
That's the issue with being
great
so
to know where else people are coming from, where else people are chilly and cold.
Yeah, but I pop it in the comments if you're feeling cold today, which I reckon everybody is.
I did say also, bring your own mulled wine, but I've only got water. So
I'm the same. I've got the juice today as well, so not quite so fun. No. So today we're going to be having a look at ClassVR. So I've got a background using ClassVR, kind of going into the schools and kind of either training the teachers, training the staff, and kind of using it with the students. Ian, what's your background of using VR and AR?
Oh, well, my background as a teacher, as you can tell, is quite extensive. So I'm actually originally a design and technology teacher, so I was always using 3D, always into creating stuff. Design and technology teachers right across the world have always been using virtual scenes, creating buildings. I was a SketchUp user, walking through things. So all that experience, I think, really, really helps. Really putting on headsets like these. My first introduction, as most people would be the Google Cardboard. You print it out or cut it out, stick your phone in and watch YouTube videos. And actually, Avantis looked at that and went, that's a really good idea. And what they did was they said, in fact, brilliant story, our Chief Technical Officer, Rupert, down in Wales, I said to him, what was the idea? What was the use case? And he said, my mother was a primary school teacher in the Valley of Wales. I wanted her to be able to bring her kids anywhere. So I thought, amazing. What a great use case.
What a great story.
What a great story. And so they invented these. These are Android-based, but with a teacher control mechanism to allow that flexibility to happen.
Brilliant. I didn't know that background. That's great.
It's just fantastic. You know, I wanted my mother in the Valley of Wales to take her kids easily anywhere. There you go. Tick.
And that's the thing. When you put the headsets on, you really can travel anywhere. So one of my favorite things, as soon as I put it on, I went to the Sharks. Kind of, it's one of the opening ones that's already kind of there for you in the showcase. And yeah, you're just kind of moving around and going, wow, look at all these different things that you're able to do. It looks like the sharks are going to come in and eat you, but you're safe. Don't worry.
You are safe. The polar bear is the one that scares me. And the polar bear is like the camera, so it's right there in your face.
Yep. It's class. It's similar. I was playing around. I was up looking at the Mars rover as well. That was great, kind of seeing it moving around, and it's a kind of visualization of it. But yeah, no, there's so many different places that you can visit or that you can kind of bring into the classroom just by using.
So there are 12,500 approximately individual pieces of work, and that could be a 360 pictures, 360 audio. We don't have enough of those. I want to do more of those. I would love stereophonic sound from inside an orchestra. Would that be amazing?
Oh, that'd be incredible.
There's 360 video. There's also 3D models that you can actually pick up and rotate and hold. And then the final part is the exploratory scenes where you can walk around the Mars rover, where you can go to Mars rover. And so what you're trying to do is to give your pupils that experience that they couldn't normally have. My background was design and technology teacher, as I said earlier, but actually I was 13 years on the Isle of Islay. And giving kids an experience of what it was like to be in a city to prepare them is something really important. But actually, the other way is true as well. How do you give kids an experience they couldn't normally go to? How could you, that really, really busy crossroads in Japan, the middle of Tokyo, can you imagine 360 in that and you're just there? What that
It'd
would
just be
feel
stunning.
like. But it's not just about the giving experiences, giving the educational experiences, I think, becomes the important bit.
Absolutely.
Why don't I share the screen and we can
Yeah.
share this?
I mean, go for it.
Guys, look, not seen any comments yet. Am I missing them, or are they just
No, nothing yet. If you've got any questions for us, kind of start building them up just now. We've got some slides as well. We will kind of share them out in just a wee bit. But we've got time dedicated at the end for today. So if you do have any questions, please do pop them into the chat. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube as well. So, and the website. So if you do have any questions, please do pop them into whatever kind of chat streams you've got there, and we will pick those up.
So this is the website that controls everything. So no apps, okay? Easily accessible through filtering, of course, but the teacher guides the pupils. The teacher, one of the key phrases I've put in place fairly recently is that we don't want to define your pedagogy. It's your pedagogy for what you want to do. Now, we are in 95 countries, so when it says global head of education, it really is global, which means aligning to curriculum is really difficult. So we've got these thematic approaches for the stuff we have created. Now, we've created these as an idea of what you could do to get you started. Recently, we just put this one in for international festivals, and these are around people, and we can look at Santa's Grotto, very popular right now. Burns Night was very popular back in February, thanks to South Ayrshire for helping us develop that. So we build these scenes, and I think that's important to acknowledge that we take this, and every 2 weeks we produce or release 4 or 5 new scenes. So if you want something, ask. I know Simon Luxford-Moore from Erskine School isn't here tonight, but he asked for a medieval castle. We produced it in 4 or 5 days.
That's a very quick turnaround.
Wow. Can't promise that every time. He paid
no.
Actually, well, he bought me a pint. That's how he paid. It's there, ready to go.
But that's a really good point as well. So obviously, when people think, ClassVR is a huge company all over the world. It's a global kind of, I don't know, like giant, especially in the linking into VR and alternative reality. But I really like that it's local as well. So you mentioned South Ayrshire, you mentioned ESMS as well with Simon. I really like that kind of local aspect as well, kind of building from Scotland and from those classrooms out. Officially,
our headquarters are in Gloucester, so we're a UK-based company. But yeah, so I'm pushing the Scottish angle, I must admit. That's my personal. Hi guys, the team, you know that's true. You can see the libraries here on the right-hand side, and we can build up for what we want to do. I personally use the search subscriptions resources, and it loads up, and I can choose. I'm looking for a picture. Actually, I'm going to go London, since we're talking about England there, and actually we've got 360 pictures. Oh, I want to see this railway box, and I drag that in. Paralympics opening, I want to put that in place. This time I want a video. There's a London sunrise and a London, and I can build what I want to do in here, and I can save that as my playlist. There's my playlist there, and I can drag it in. And actually, when it comes to it, I can go, oh, actually, there I'm ready for my year 1 geography unit, and I can drag that in, ready to go. And I then send it to the headsets. Now I can, and I highly recommend this, preload the content onto the headsets, or I can just send. So I've got my headsets beside me. I've got 2 switched on, and actually I've just sent all this over to the headsets, and I can see exactly what each student is looking at, which is something that's really important to me. I think a good pedagogical approach is that teacher supporting the learning, and it's getting a bit funny. There it goes there. So you can see these things have now appeared on the headsets, ready to go. It's a bit jittery because we're broadcasting out at the same time.
You're streaming at the same time, so it's
always fun. Always fun. But you can see, and actually, I can see 30 headsets up here, and I can see, and remember, students don't have accounts, but you can see the headsets is demo 2. I know who's got that on, and I can look at the front, because I've actually put a label on the front, and I can look at it and go, wow, you're looking at that. And actually, I can take a picture of that as well. But what I can also do is say, right, guys, everybody, we are going to look at this railway signal box. And I'm now inside this really traditional signal box, and I can look around it. So if I'm telling stories, I can say, let's go and look at what that looks like and feels like. What do you think? What do you think these big radios are for? And I can actually press the button on the side, and it zooms in a little bit.
Brilliant.
Did you not know that now?
No, I didn't. I didn't know about the Zoom. That's a great one.
So you can actually go, oh, look at these old-fashioned telephones.
So if you've got a student in your class, obviously maybe you're doing your whole class lesson, maybe it's your book of the week, maybe you're kind of diving into your topic, and you're wanting to talk about, for example, the telephones that are there, maybe the logbook that's there as well. And you've got a student in your class who's away off looking at the back end of the room, and they're kind of maybe looking at the door somewhere else. Is there a way for you to kind of draw their eye in to a specific point?
Yep. So I've got the 360 content up here. As a teacher, I can see this on my classroom wall. And you know what? I'm going to get them to look. What do you think this is over here? And in the headsets themselves, you see these dots have appeared?
Yep.
These breadcrumbs that I'll let to. I want everybody to look over here now. Well, let's do a little bit closer look. What's not as old as those other ones, but I can look at that. And actually, if I go back to my preview, I can see where the headsets are looking. You see them moving across as I'm looking around. It's amazing when you're in a class full of them and you see all these headsets flying around. It's amazing. It's fantastic. But of course, as a teacher, I might want everybody to take into the next picture in my story, my pedagogical journey. And I'm now in the opening of the Paralympics.
Hey.
Or I can say the next one, and it'll start playing the video. And what's interesting is that the video sound, because I'm sharing this out to everybody, let's pause that just now, because it's playing the sound of my headsets on my central computer rather than coming out of the headsets themselves. So if the pupil clicks on it themselves, it comes out of the headsets. If the teacher plays it, it comes out of the board. Okay. And again, I can look around and get that experience of where you want to be. But also, if a pupil says, oh, I want to do this. In fact, let's go back to the Paralympic one. And I'm looking around and I want to see, I want all this for me, and I can take a picture of that and give it to that pupil, that picture in that scene, and I can give it back to that pupil for their learning journey, for their learning log, for their materials. Really, really powerful.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You can actually build up a whole load of things through my playlist. And actually, I'm really lucky. I've got a 360 camera here. We don't sell these, so this is not a pitch. But I do love it. I've learned loads in here. But if I go into here, I know that I've got my 360s that I've taken. And if I drop this one in here, so imagine taking the kids on a trip, and you take a 360. You know, kids never remember when you go on a trip. What do they say? You say, who remembers? They go, I remember the sandwich. I remember the sweets. I remember the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But they never actually remember the learning experience. So that's actually my wife standing there. In fact, what I should do is go into here and say, this is actually my wife standing underneath here. So I can point things out inside the headsets. Anybody know where this is? Any comments coming in? Anybody recognise it?
The comments coming in, I'll give them a wee second.
Yeah.
Nothing coming in just yet.
We'll come back to that, but it is a very famous place. But I took that with a 360 camera. And if I look down, the camera removes itself. That is voodoo.
That is really clever.
That is just voodoo. That is just incredible. So you see, I can look and I can take that away again. And I can see, what do you think these things are on here? And actually, one of the key things that happens is that not every pupil, every school has one-to-one. And actually, quite often, we encourage kids to talk about what they're seeing. So they verbalize, they emotionalize, they share those creative comments really quickly and start creating that world. So what we're doing is we're giving pupils a near experience. It's virtual reality. And one thing I would definitely want to say here is that if they can do something for real, do it for real. This should augment, this should go on top of what they're doing already, should not replace the real thing.
But I love that, especially kind of talking about the pupil experience and traveling around. One of the things I used the 360 camera for was in the school that I was up in Merkinch. We got a new building, and before the pupils had access to it and they came back to school, we took the 360 camera in and we took loads of photos around the school. And then what we were then able to do was put that together. The students were then able to access what the school's going to look like. They could go on that virtual tour, explore everything before they'd even kind of visited the school. And then it's a great way as well for them to kind of look back as well in the past and see, oh, this is what my classroom used to look like. And now we've got all these kind of drawings on the wall. We've got all these different things around, Legos out or whatever. So it's a great way for you to look forward using these kind of tours, but also looking back as well.
Absolutely. One of the other interesting things in here is that in the blog area of the ClassVR website, there's lots of examples. I love this one from Falkirk. We'll come back to that one. But actually, there's a school teacher education unit in the US uses ClassVR to share examples of where teachers have used spaces in the rooms. They're geographically spread. There it is there. And the school's actually going in professional development with ClassVR. You can see I'm in here, and they're sharing 360 pictures. But interestingly, if I bring this up, these are YouTube videos. I can't hit play because there's going to be pupils involved in here. This is a classroom, and you can observe the classroom. And actually, you can observe the behavior and go back and look again and repeat again. Now, I'm looking at this on a 360 platform on YouTube. This could be on a headset. And interestingly, it's a slightly different perspective between the two. Some teachers will actually use the headset. And because the cameras now pick up 360 sound, you know that teacher's superpower? What's that? What's that sound over there? You've got directional sound. You hear everything. It's there all the time. I was speaking to a biology teacher in the US, and he had created really active lessons, science experiments, things going wrong. And when the parents came in, they said, so what do you do in a classroom? He said, just pick up the headset, put it on, and it just started playing the video of that classroom, of the activity that's going on. You imagine that with HMI or Ofsted if you're down south. You know, what's a lesson look like? There you go.
Yep.
Changing. So it's not just about learning and teaching in the classroom, taking pupils. It's giving teachers, we're all learners, giving teachers an experience and sharing that through. And actually, one of the other cases is special needs schools, where we have so many anxious students these days, so many who have not done things because of the pandemic, because of lockdown. They're quite anxious about what they're doing. Give them experiences they wouldn't normally have. And at this time, I'm going to bring up another YouTube video. And if I go to here, this is Glenfinnan Viaduct. That gives a clue to where the picture came from before. And this is us walking up to that.
You shared this on Twitter the other day as well, because I watched this.
So this is my wife carrying the camera. There's me walking behind as usual. A number of times where kids have said, oh, what are we going to do? What's it going to be like? What's it going to be? And particularly those from an area where they're restricted what their experiences might be. And that changes the outcome. They then change from being scared of something to being, oh, I'm now beginning to understand what we might do. And of course, I'm just going to close that down. And I'll close down the other one as well because it's taking a bit
There's a brilliant example just while you're doing that there. So a lot of the schools will kind of support their students with life skills as well. So if you can go in, ask for permission, obviously, but if you can go into the shops and say, am I okay to kind of film around? And this is kind of giving the students a chance to explore what's going to happen when they go to the shop. They pick up their item, they take it to the till, they pay, that kind of thing. If they're able to experience that without even leaving the room, then that's a kind of great way for them to build up that confidence so that when they then do go out, cross that barrier and the border into kind of the streets, into the shops, then they've got that experience already behind them.
Absolutely.
What's going to happen.
Absolutely. Again, with permission, saying this is that local experience specific to your area, I think becomes really important. This is the Scotland-South Africa game last year. And what I really liked about this is it's rather scary. It's a bit like the shark. Whoa, it's a bit scary right in your face. But we sent this to our South African partners, and they put it on headsets, and they were experiencing the anthems by being at the event. And I think that's just an amazing way of just bringing those experiences in. And
Absolutely.
for those who didn't guess, this is actually the Harry Potter bridge.
Hey.
In viaducts, but everybody else in the world knows it's the Harry Potter bridge.
Yep. I was there a couple of summers ago. There's some stunning views, especially when the trains are going over as well.
Really is.
Yeah.
The other really interesting use case, so we're working with Shape Robotics, who are a Danish company, and we're developing experiences to find problems. So, for example, I'm going to stop sharing just now. So, for example, there might be a blocked sewer. There we go. There might be a blocked sewer under Bucharest, and the kids put the headsets on and walk through. And what they're trying to do is understand the problem and then design the solution to go with that problem. A disaster zone. You couldn't take kids to a disaster zone. You just couldn't.
Yep.
So a virtual disaster zone, and say, how would you get a robot to go? What do they need to think about the robot? What tools do they need to grip? What tools do they need to do this? And actually, they could then design in 3D those tools, check them on the headsets before they print them, because printing takes ages. Take a teacher. I know how long you and how many times they go wrong, and then actually print them and attach them to the robot, and then program the robot to solve the problem. So they're creating these smart hubs, 1,175 across the whole of Romania.
Wow.
And the kids, the teachers go in and they experience the problems, understand the problems, and they start to define the solutions to those problems. And it becomes a really important aspect. And that takes me into the scenes part. And I'm just going to share this again. As I said earlier, keep forgetting where the present button is.
Take your time.
It's all right. So this brings us into the scenes that were in here. Again, if I go to ClassVR, we've got the 3D models and the scenes are explorable like a game. Okay, but you don't have to use the headset because Avantis World doesn't require a headset. So if I go into Super Science Land, and these are the scenes we produce 4 or 5 every 2 weeks. Okay. Yes, you can view them in a headset, but you don't need to view them in a headset. So if I go to technology, there are 6 scenes. You see the energy and forces, there are 26. So we're developing these. There are 300 here right now. But if I go, say, brief history of technology, that loads me in. QR code here at the top is the teacher's QR code. The kids can't save that and go in later. It's a different one next time. But what they can do is the teacher can say, go to this, into the scene, and they can put that into their Teams, they can put it into their Google Meet, they can put it into the Firefly, and actually can have that experience. So if I right mouse click and say open a new tab, this becomes each individual pupil's virtual experience on any device.
Brilliant.
So they can actually walk about and explore that. So someone's well, say it to your mind, you don't need to that. See, and here we've created a walk history of technology. And press W on the keyboard, S on the keyboard, A and D to control it, and the mouse just to look around. Okay. And as I move from zones, the sounds change. I'm not sharing the sounds, but the sounds change for different zones. There's an example of a walkthrough experience, and if I close that down, if I go back to the top and I click on the QR code, and actually, what I can do with this while that's loading up is I can take my mobile phone, or the pupil could take their device, and I can bring in my QR scanner, and it loads me in. Don't need to sign in.
That's great. That was going to be my question for you, was kind of what happens with sign-in, logins, that kind of thing. But you just have to scan the QR code, and it's different for every time you log in as well as a teacher? Is that right?
Different technicians. So they cannot. So if I move forward, you can see this has just appeared on here. If I turn round, there's my mobile phone.
Hey.
So I'm now in here, and actually I could turn on the voices and actually have a meeting inside there. And I've done that before. So that
That's a
you can
great
actually
idea.
say to kids, right, but also kids who can't get into the classroom, who are school refusers, who are coming back in, they can come in. I was hearing about a project in Wales and Patagonia recently, where Barry Island Primary School, there's a school in Patagonia that's a Welsh-speaking school, would you believe? Welsh community went over there, kept their culture. They've even got a school there. And actually, the schools are trying to arrange so they're both meeting inside a Welsh coal mine virtually like this and speaking Welsh to each other.
That's fantastic. What an experience.
What an experience. We've also created Spanish Cafe, so you can go in and speak Spanish. We've created Italian Cafe, French Cafe, a German coffee house. We're trying to come up with what would be English. I've looked at some interesting ideas. What would be typically English? We're thinking American diner, but what else would it be? We can't have a pub, obviously, unfortunately. It could be a cafe.
Yes, could be.
Where people go in and actually speak English in there, so it's there ready to go. What I love about this, if I change the scene, and at this time I'm going to go into inside a computer. The moment I click on that, this changes and it teleports everybody, the entire class. Notice my computer, my phone is going blank as well, and it's going to load in. It brings everybody into that new scene to experience it, to walk around it. And of course, I could do that on a headset, and I can walk around with a headset. The headsets have microphones in them, they have speakers in them, they've got jacks for headsets, so we can easily do that, and then bring someone else in from outside. These two little things on the keyboard here, these are actually my movement. There's my moving around.
Oh, there we go. Can see you looking around.
Looking around. And actually, I can change my name if I want to. It comes up with these anonymized name, and I can change my name and change my avatar if I wanted to as well. And as a teacher, I see people have come in with this, and it's a set of goggles if they've come in a VR headset, so they can see whatever, but they're in charge. They can lead that, so we make it that experience as simple as possible. In fact, if I do this, I'm going to walk through on my main computer, and I'm going to walk through. I know there's a secret part in here that allows me to go straight inside the computer. So actually, I can talk about the computer, I can look around it, and I can experience it. Somebody recently asked, can we take a CPU and actually be small enough to walk around the CPU so we can talk about different sections? Ooh. I'm going to take that and we're going to build it. I think that's a great one.
That's a great idea.
So, and again, teacher can move that, change it, build it. And the lands are various lands, so we'll get engaging Earth lands, so take them to different parts of the world, different biomes, or somewhere else completely. It could be Mars, for example, and you walk around on Mars. But as I'll repeat this, it's really important. If they can do something for real, do it for real, okay? So there's actually a pond in here, and somebody did challenge me and said, if you do it for real, why have you got a freshwater pond biome? And actually, the reason is, yes, you can go to a pond, but with this freshwater pond, you can walk into it.
Nice. So you can get that experience that you might not possibly be able to do. Although you can go and visit the pond, you might not actually be able to go and kind of dive underneath and have a look.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. And I'm just in here, I can walk around, which you can never do in the real life.
No.
Mini beasts,
well, I mean, you could, but you wouldn't be able to see anything.
No, exactly. The last thing I want to share with you guys, okay, is the free part. So these are subscriptions. Headsets can be purchased. But I'm going to take you and I'll show you eduverse.com. And the thing I love about this is in beta right now. So you're not the first, but you're pretty close to the first. If I go to these expeditions and say enter the Eduverse, I can click in here. Now these do the same thing. There's some free rooms here. There's the Christmas grotto. There's Burns Night coming up.
Burns Night, nice, like that one.
We swap these out, so these are freely available. And again, if I go to Let's go to 1984. Actually, we just thought it was appropriate for this year, actually, as an end of year thing. The little nod to how the world's changed.
Yes.
And you walk around what this is like, and we've taken the elements of the story of the book, and you can walk around and explore. Okay. Again, the interaction we want to keep is inside the classroom. But we've also got some rooms like a pirate ship, a gymnasium. I do like the beach room. So room is VR room. But as well as that, if I go back up to here, we have these expeditions. These are 300 photos, pictures, videos, and models that you can go to. If I go to cities, let's go to Athens. Remember, this is all free. Just create a teacher account and you're away. And exactly this, I'm now inside here, but I'm inside here and I can talk to my students inside this photograph. So I can turn on the sound and again, take a picture and walk around and explore. I do like the 3D models. So if I go to, say, here and the US one, for example, North American tours. If I go to North American animals, here's a snowy owl, and it's going to load up a 3D model that I can walk around with my students.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's there, and I can walk and talk, and I can bring up the QR code, and anybody can scan that and join me in here. Okay, I've chosen to do that. I'm doing it safely.
Yep.
When I close this down, that closes down and kicks everyone out, so they can't have their own little party. So it's safe.
Brilliant. I love that.
And so the expeditions are completely free. You can go and create your accounts right now and have a little play with expeditions.
That's a great one. I love that you can get those 3D models as well.
3D models are, as a techie teacher, I just love that sort of stuff. It's really, really good.
It's great for your, like, if you've got your book of the week or your topic, like we said earlier, for example, if it is Harry Potter or whatever, having that snowy owl there, you can explore and kind of, maybe you've never seen an owl in real life before, and you've only ever kind of seen pictures or you've only ever seen drawings of those types of owls. You can actually explore that as a 3D model in front of you. Sure, it's not the real thing, but it's pretty close. So
and the next step to that is, if you've got headsets, is you can use the AR cubes to pick that up, that 3D model, and hold it in your hand.
Smart. It's next level.
And what do you want to do? What's your pedagogy? What's the learning outcome you want to amplify? It's your choice as a teacher. What do you want them to do?
That's fantastic. So I thought, just as we're kind of wrapping up soon, if anybody does have any comments, please do whack them into the chats. Ian, just while I'm kind of running through this, if you could have a look on Twitter, see if anybody's shared any comments on there, that'd be appreciated. Unfortunately, it doesn't chat here, but I'm just going to kind of chat to you about the devices and kind of what that would look like in your classroom. So here we are. You've got Ian and myself. You can find us on Twitter, either Ian Stuart 66 or at Niall Ridgway. I'm also running the Tablet Academy Scotland, the TA Scotland site as well. So if you follow all three of us, that'd be appreciated. You can share your questions in there, find all of our presentations and kind of the promo for today. And there we go. I thought I would add in our pictures of us using the devices as well. Can
I just point out, I did take that photograph earlier today. I've not just kept the same clothes.
It's not. It's your workwear. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what is ClassVR? We've covered that. We've had a look at kind of all the different models, how you can kind of transport to different parts of the world or elsewhere as well. You can shrink and grow, especially going into the computer. I thought that was fantastic. But it really is a great way for us all to learn together. As we've got kind of from the image there, it comes from that centralized place. Typically, the teacher will share everything out to all their headsets and the students can then engage. You can use it just kind of with the headset, so that one headset can kind of dictate where they're going. But typically in your classrooms, I would guess that all the teachers would kind of want to be in control of that and share out everything as we go, just as Ian showed us. We'll share this out afterwards. So we've got a video from Warwickshire School down in England, and the impact that using these headsets has had on the school really is fantastic. As you can see from the shark there, this is the one that we were talking about earlier, having that kind of experience of being underwater and being exposed to all the things that you can't explore in your day-to-day lives really has made a huge difference in that school. So it's definitely worth having a look at
can I
that.
just add into that now? We didn't know this was coming up, but it appeared on breakfast TV. I was drinking a coffee. I almost spat it across the room, but I realised it was our stuff.
That's a nice surprise for
It
you.
was a really nice surprise.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, the write-up is great, so clearly it was a positive there. So storing and charging. So obviously when you're kind of getting these devices and using these devices, there's lots of different ways that you can either bring them in or kind of store them within your classroom. So you'll see there, we've got in the gray box, you can get them as a set of 4. You can get in the orange box a set of 8. And in the big trolley there, you can get a set of 30 as well. So when you do buy these, they do come with the carrying cases as well. What's great about the orange box there, the set of 8, is it's got wheels and a carry handle. So I carry it around like a trolley and like my luggage, and I'll take it everywhere that I go. It's brilliant because the devices will charge in the box as well. So you just plug the box in, and then all your devices will be fully charged, ready to go for your next lesson. And in the box as well, there is a cooling fan. So you're not going to have to worry about them overheating or any fires, that kind of stuff, because there is cooling fans in there for you.
They also have smart charging, so when all the headsets are charged up, you can leave them switched on, charging up, and it switches off once it's got to the right thing. So it's okay to leave over the weekend, even during the energy crisis.
That's a nice point there. I like that. So the headsets themselves, what do they look like? So we saw Ian had one there just a wee minute ago. So we've got on the right hand side, we've got the front of the headset there, where we've got our camera, and kind of on the back there, we've got our sensor. So when you push the headset into your face, it's going to recognize that you have it's a proximity sensor, something there. And so then you're able to see the image. As soon as you pull that away, it's going to turn that image off. So you're not able to see anything, which is fantastic. You've got also, it's like the cloth part. So it's the spongy padded part. What's great about that is you can actually take it off and you can throw it into the washing machine and you can clean it. There we go. Nice one. So you never have to worry about kind of cleaning that kind of thing. You can just take it off, give it a wee clean and stick it back on again later on. The top and the bottom of the devices, so you'll see on both we've got that space for the air to circulate in there as well. But on the top, which is the one on the right, we've got the microphone picking up your sound. On the left is the bottom. We've got another microphone in there as well. We've got the power button, the headphone jack, so you can plug in headphones when you're listening to wherever you are in the kind of AR verse. We've got a space for a micro SD card as well. And on the right, we've got the volume key as well. So you can go up and down with your volume. And from left to right there, you've got your charger up in the top or on the left-hand side, top picture there. And on the right-hand side, you've got your back button, your select and action button, and your menu button as well. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what the devices look like from all around. And it kind of shows you how they look.
Just if you go back a second now, that forward one. There we go. The select action button, the big one in the middle, that's the one I use to zoom in and out.
Brilliant. Nice one. I'll keep that in mind then. That's great. It's good. I've used the select action to move forward as well.
Yeah.
If you're using the devices, then you can press select action and it'll move you forward. And then as you look left, you'll move forward left as well.
Yeah.
So it's great for that. We had a look at the platform there as well, how easy it is to send out all the activities for your students. But I thought I would share with you as well, if you are interested in looking at getting these for your school, you can head to that link there. So it's bit.ly/TAS, which is Tablet Academy Scotland, -VR-shop. I will pop that up into the comments just now. If you give me 2 seconds, .ly/TAS-VR-shop. Okay, so if you are interested, then you can enter it. Sending, there we go. Then you can have a look yourselves at the devices. There's also a QR code there for you if you are interested in having a wee look. So we've not had any questions come in yet, Ian.
So that's okay. That's okay.
That's grand. That's clearly you've covered everything. That's what that's saying to me.
Or I've done what I usually did in the classroom and blown them away so much so they're like, "Oh my god, stop talking at me."
Well, that's the thing. There is so much to do and kind of explore and learn from. We could spend hours chatting about this today. And
if you think about possible use cases as well, learning a teacher is directly science, design, technology, physics, all these kind of things. But then you start thinking about developing your workforce, work experience, using the 360 camera, bringing those experiences back in, preparing young people to step out into when they're anxious. I am certain more people will come up with more ideas than we have. And actually, that's where things get really exciting for me.
Absolutely. I am excited to see what comes out, because, I mean, 10, 15 years ago, I wouldn't have seen that this is where we were going. So I'm excited to see kind of where we are, even 2 years down the line, see what has come out. And as you said, there's loads of different, you said there's 5 or so different areas to explore every 2 weeks or so, were you saying?
Yeah, 5 or 6, 4 or 5 new seeds get released every 2 weeks. Although we did a big release for Christmas, and we're doing a big release, so look out for that one in early January to get things up and going again. And of course, it's technology, so it's always going to be changing. It's always going to be developing. And to do that effectively, we need feedback, and we'd love to know what people want.
Absolutely. I think that's a great thing, is keeping it local and seeing what people like and kind of what's working for them, and then developing off of that as well. I really like that. Fantastic. So that's us. If you do have any questions, put them in the comments just now. Let us know what you're thinking. If you've got any thoughts, you can find us. I've got down in the bottom right there our Twitter accounts, so do let us know. So we've got at Ian Stuart 66, we've got at Niall Ridgway, and we've got at TA Scotland as well. So let us know what you're thinking about today. If you've got any questions, we're more than happy to help you out and answer those. And yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day so far.
And Niall, I hope you've learned one or two things as well.
I have. I absolutely have. That's and I've done loads of different showcases of these devices. I've played with them around at home just to get to know them, gone in, used them with classes, and yeah, I'm still learning. So it just shows you everything's changing. Every day's a learning day.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you very
much, Ian, for coming along. Really appreciate it. We hope you're having a good day so far. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the outro video, and we'll say goodbye to everyone. So thank you very much for today, everybody. I hope you're having a good kind of rest of your afternoon. What am I playing? This one here. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.